Hey there guys, in this tutorial we're going to be taking a look at how I created my Phase Top 5 Shockwave intro thing. So we'll quickly have a look here and we'll scrub through. Inside of Cinema 4D we're just going to be taking a look at how we can sort of create this futuristic shockwave looking effect. You can see it bumps up there and we've got some nice glow and everything going on. And it's going to be fairly quick inside of Cinema 4D, so let's go ahead, open that up and get started. So inside of Cinema 4D I have a new project window opened up. And let's go to our paths and add an inside right there. And straight away we're going to change the plane from XY to XZ, so it's straight on the floor like that. Now let's actually scale this down and let's select the inside, go to MoGraph and click Alt while clicking cloner, and that's just going to shove it inside there. And under the cloner settings, what we're going to do is go to the object and let's change the mode from linear to grid array. And we don't want any on the Z, so we'll turn that down to 0. And actually let's just spread these out a little bit. And you'll see at the minute they're actually not alternating, so they don't sort of flow together nicely. Now to fix that we can go to create object null, and we're going to add the null into the cloner just under the inside. Yeah, so the null's on the bottom, and when you'll see now, if we push these in, actually let's add a few more here. Do 15 by 15, scale these out. And you see now we have alternating end sides, and if we actually group these together nicely, top view, and you want to make sure these are pretty close together, so something maybe around there. Doesn't have to be exact. Cool, so now we have our alternating grid pattern thing going on. Pretty cool. And actually let's just make it square as well. So if we go to our cloner, add a few more here and we'll just scale that up. Cool, right. So let's actually go ahead and extrude these let's go ahead and extrude these. So if we grab our extrude object and we'll shove the inside in there. And on the movement, let's change the Z from 20. And actually we're scaling on the Y axis. So let's move this up to maybe around 10. That's looking good. Zoom out here. And that's looking pretty good so far. So let's go back to our example here. We're gonna try and create this sort of outlining pattern here. Now this is super easy to do, so let's go ahead and rename this to black. We'll hold control and click and drag down and we'll call this red. Well, actually let's do a different color. Let's do blue. And what we're going to do is, instead of an extrude object here, we'll just take the inside out and we'll delete the extrude. And let's grab a sweep object instead, and we'll shove that back under and the inside back under. And we'll grab a circle, put that under our sweep, and let's move this down to maybe 1 or 2 on the radius of the circle. 2 is good. Let's create a new material and we'll make it a darker color. Put that on the black. Hold control, we'll make a new material, and let's make this a blue color. Something around there, and we'll shove that on top of the blue. And see if we quickly render this out now, we're getting this cool outline on our grid. So already straight away that is looking pretty awesome. And I think we're looking good. Let's go ahead and start animating this. To get the cool shockwave effect, what I did was, let's go to our black. We'll go to MoGraph Effector and add a plane effector. And under the parameters, we're going to change Z from maybe 100 to maybe 50. So they're going up and down. We'll go to the fall off and change the shape from infinite to torus. Actually, let's scale up so we can see what's happening. And right now that's looking pretty good. If we render this out, you'll see that the black panels are actually lifting up as this scales out. Animate it from 0, or animate it from about here at the start of our timeline. We'll hit the stopwatch for the scale, and let's go ahead, maybe 100 frames. Out. And let's increase our scale all the way up. Around there till it's flat again on the edges. And again, hit the keyframe button there. And if we scale out our timeline here, and we'll play through. Cool. Let's go onto our plane, add a bit more fall off using this here, and let's turn off our deformer under the filter. And you'll see now if we quickly play this through, now we are getting this cool looking effect. Get a cool angle going on. If we actually quickly render this out, we'll see what we're getting. Yep, so that's looking pretty good. Not bad at all. So let's go ahead and also animate our blue colors. That we can again click on the blue, go to MoGraph, Effector, Plane, and under our blue one, under our Effectors tab, you can see that this plane one has now been added and it's been affected. Again, let's change the parameters of this effect on the Y to maybe 50 or 60. Let's do 60. Same process again, go to the fall off, change the shape from infinite to torus, and we're going to keyframe the scale. But on this one, we're actually going to delay it a little bit, so we'll start it when our first shockwave is around here. Start it about here, scale, and let's increase our timeline to maybe 200. Now our first plane ends at 100 frames, so let's end this one at 120 frames. Scale this up enough, and again set the keyframe there. If we play through this now we're getting that cool shockwave looking effect. Cool. Again, let's go back to our example. This is all I did pretty much. What else can... Let's add some text to make this look even better. And we'll go to MoGraph, MoText, and we'll add some text. I guess we'll just leave it as text. Change our font to something like Nexa. And we're going to align it to the middle. So it's in the middle of our scene here. Okay, and now we need to keyframe it. So let's start off with our text all the way up. Just off camera, let's set a keyframe and let's scrub forward to where our first panel starts moving up. And let's bring it back down. Here. That is intersecting, but I don't think you'll notice that in the final. Text hits, and then the shockwave happens. That's pretty good so far. Cool. Now for camera animation, and let me just quickly save this. Let's go ahead and animate a cool camera movement. So, like you'll see on this one, the camera actually pans around the text. Now, to do this is fairly simple. Let's go ahead to our splines here, or splines, and we're going to add an arc object. And actually, let's go to our top view up here, and we'll make this a little bit bigger. Zoom out here. And we'll grab our arc and we're going to change the plane down onto XZ so you can see it here. And I'm going to rotate it around. Front of our text, 90 degrees. And then let's just increase the overall radius so you see it's fairly large there. And again, we'll increase our start angle, we'll actually decrease it. Turn off our panels here, you'll see our arc has now been stretched around our middle point here. And we'll just try and get the angle so you get a whole field of view. Let's go back to our perspective. Get our arc there, and right now it's actually on the floor, so let's just go ahead and increase this up a little bit more. So this is the path that our camera is actually going to follow along, and now we need a target as well. So we'll go to create object null, we'll rename this to target, and we'll rename this to path, I guess. And our target is where our camera is going to be looking at, so again we can just up a little bit. So that's looking good. Add our camera, and we'll look through that. And let's right click on the camera, go to Cinema 4D, tags, and then align to spline. We'll add that path in there. And again, right click on the camera, go to Cinema 4D tags, and do a target tag. And we'll add our target into that. And if we go to our path tag here, our position, we can keyframe, and now you'll see we're getting this cool animation here. So we're going to start it at 100%. We'll set a keyframe at the start of our composition. We're going to scrub forward to maybe where it hits. Keyframe the position down a little bit, set another keyframe, and then let's go forward to 120 frames. And we're just going to slowly move that around there. And let's add back in our panels. Now this is the overall effect that we're getting there. Put this back down to 120. Cool. So let's quickly render this out. So right now you'll see we can probably move our path up a little bit. And also increase the radius, so we're going to be further away from our text. You can just adjust it to your liking. Cool. There we go. That's looking pretty good. I'm not going to go into too much detail with the lighting, but let's go ahead and create an infinite light here. And we'll just we'll rotate it. Grab some area lights. Our text. Render this out. And finally, let's just quickly tweak our materials here. Let's add a reflectance, Georgiiou, some roughness, and we'll turn it down. We're getting this metal kind of texture. Let's actually turn that down even more. And we'll do the same for our blues. However, on this one we can add a nice glow, so let's check on glow. We'll turn this down to maybe 50% and 20%. Render this out one more time. You should see it's taking a little bit longer now because it's got to render all the reflection paths and everything like that. But, you know, that's looking pretty good. So, yeah, that's looking awesome. I like that. The last thing I would do, actually, if we go to our camera, we can go to our details tag. We'll set a rear blur, and we'll go to our top view here. And let's just create some depth of field. So if we go to our top view, select our camera, and the point of focus is going to be right on our text. So let's just move that. And again, let's just turn these two panels. And we're going to increase our radius of our camera here. So anything in this bit is going to be blurred. Make sure it covers the entire scene there. And then let's go to our render settings here. And we'll change the renderer from standards to physical. Our physical one here. And we'll check on depth of field. Go back to our perspective view. And under our camera settings, we can go to physical. We'll change the f-stop to 0.4 maybe. We'll check move the camera on. We can add some chromatic abrasion, maybe 40%. some lens distortion on the quadratic, so let's do 30%. And let's take a quick look. If we render this out, we go to our physical render settings here. Let's change it to fixed, and yeah, low. It's always nice to work with the low render settings as you're building your scene, and then when you come to the final render, just, you know, crank all of that up. Let's take a quick look at this. So this is the final sort of thing that I produced inside of Cinema 4D. I then just rendered it out with an alpha channel, and then inside of After Effects I just added some nice color correction and lighting and flares and all that stuff. So as always, I hope this tutorial maybe helped you out a little bit, or you learned something new, stuff like that. And as always, be sure to leave a comment on, you know, like a new tutorial idea. You can add me on Snapchat or follow me on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. You know, just shoot me a question if you have anything like that. And yeah, this is a nice, quick, easy one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.